Hey everyone, this is Trovarsi here. You're watching Faders Up. Thank you for joining me again. I am super excited tonight. My guest tonight, well, let's see. Let me give you a few highlights really quick. First of all, she's a phenomenal guitarist. She's a multi-instrumentalist. She has been named on Guitar World's 15 most the 15 of the world's greatest seventh and eighth string guitarists. Um, she's from my hometown, Madison, Wisconsin, and I don't know. So without further ado, let's bring her in, Sarah Longfield. All right.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sarah.
Hey.
I do YouTube and I make music, so.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm super excited to have you on here. I've been following you and love your videos.
Thank you.
So yeah, I can't wait to get into it. But before we kind of dive in and start talking about your journey and everything, let's watch your video. All right,
Yeah.
everyone, we're gonna watch Sarah's video.
Cool.
Unmute. Yeah. Nice. Unmute her.
I muted.
I
I muted myself. That was my bad.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like,
Sorry.
No. Wow. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it was phenomenal. And the vocals, people were talking about it in the chat too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I want to like perform them like actually live, but I don't know. I like love affected vocals. Like I love when you like, when you like in Melodyne or in the Logic like vocal wannabe Melodyne, you can totally flatten the vibrato and it sounds like almost like synthesized. It's like a better vocoder. Right. So it's like I don't know how to recreate that live. And obviously all the reverb and the stutter effects, so it's like I don't know. I'm not there yet. But
it sounded fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about it. Like, what did you? I mean, I saw you had the tracker, you had the dig attack, had well, you talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have the AFX station, mostly to help me with transitions, because like I said, I have an Akai MPX8 here, and the loading time between kits is like 30 seconds. So I was like, well, what am I gonna do between kits? And this is what was playing all my vocal samples, which I just, I pulled from my songs and then I kind of like remixed them a little bit and then exported them and then put them on the SD card. But I couldn't fit all of them on just this. So some of them are in the tracker, but I couldn't fit everything in the tracker either. So I had to make multiple projects in the tracker to get all my samples going. And I thought about trying to incorporate the modular live, but my brain, like, like I said, I don't work in like a, let's just jam, I work in like a one thing at a time and I dive in like 150%. And I'm just like, we're doing vocals right now. And then I'll spend like 6 hours just tracking vocals, or like now we're doing modular and I'll spend like 8 hours just sitting down and then recording and cutting up samples and processing them and then exporting them and then like importing them back in and messing around with them and then mixing them together and then exporting them.
Gotcha.
And the dig attack does a lot of things. So sometimes it's just drums. Sometimes it's me taking my samples and then messing with them in here because it does. Sometimes my workflow is different in the dig attack than it is in the DAW. So yeah, that's what's happening.
So wait, now what were you doing within? Okay, so let's kind of, if you don't mind, can we kind of like break it down? So I know you said you had some of your vocals were in the Akai, and you were talking about the fact that there's. Can you can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe let me turn myself up actually a little bit. There's a little knob right there, Willow. She's my producer. Amazing. That right there, and just turn it a smidge. There you go. Awesome. All right, cool. I think that hopefully that's a little better, right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. So so can you break down for this particular song, what were you doing in the dig attack?
Oh, that was just running. So thankfully I found the project that I made for that like snippet of song that is unfinished. I was like, oh man, how am I going to recreate the drums? Because basically what I was trying to do was take like some of the music I'm working on and make like a little DJ set out of it. Because I don't have any of those songs finished yet because life is chaos. So I was just like digging through my many dig attack files to try and find the drums and it's like a mixture of like a little bit of drum and a little melody. And I found it. So I was like, all right, cool. Then I could just I don't even have to do it again. It's already there. So yeah, that's mostly just handling the drums in that one part. I wanted to do it for other stuff, but it just made more sense to keep it all in the tracker for my brain. Like I said, once I get better at figuring out a live setup for my electronic music, then we'll be good, but not there yet.
No, totally. So like, okay, I've had some experience with the tracker, and it's a lot of fun. Like, so, and I know like I use the Digitech for a lot, for example, so they're very, very different. So
Yes.
like when you're, for example, when you're looking at the Digitech, did you use multiple patterns, or did you change, like when you, yeah, like how did you do it? Like did you go with patterns, or did you kind of stick with like one pattern or one bank? Or
So I'm like the worst Digitact user ever. I'm so messy. Like all my projects, it'll be like 4 songs in one project, all different tempos, none in the same key, totally different samples in each pattern. Like there's no consistency whatsoever. So it's just like, that is my like sketch pad for everything that I do. Like, well, not everything, but like a lot of my electronic stuff is just, it's sketched out in the Digitact. Not coherently at all. So like that's why I couldn't perform it, live with more Digitact stuff, is because I can't find any of the other things that I did. And then the tracker, I like the workflow of the tracker better. Like the Digitact is, I feel like it's more, I don't know. I guess it's just less intuitive for me. I like the visual layout of the tracker. I like seeing everything as it's happening rather than like the like the buttons. Sorry, I'm like feeling the Digitact. You guys can't see this at all. I'm just like touching it. Like, yeah, that's right here. No, I just like the way the tracker's laid out better for everything. So I think in my brain, like organizing stuff after the fact makes more sense on the tracker. But like sketching stuff out initially, well, I guess it makes sense on the tracker. I like the tracker better than the Digitact, but I do like the Digitact, and I do like mangling drums on it. It feels good for that, but not quite as good for other stuff.
It's interesting you say that, because like, so when I used the tracker, it was very spontaneous, I guess would be a good word. It wasn't very calculated. The way I approached it. So when you say like, do you actually go in and, because there's like pick each note, step, like, or do you kind of take advantage of the randomization or anything like that, or do you?
I do both. Sometimes, like if I want to like start out with something, I'll just like fill all 4, and I'll just say like random, and then between this value and this value, and like in this scale, because go for it, and then I'll edit from there if I'm feeling stuck. But other times, like I'll have an idea I've come up with maybe on a different instrument or something, and I don't know. I just like, that's like with everything. I usually just kind of go at it and just keep going at it until I get something I like.
Got it. No, I understand that. Yeah. Now, have you been using MIDI with it or anything like that, or are you?
Not yet. None of my MIDI never agrees. I can't get anything to talk to anything else, no matter how hard I try, no matter how many like MIDI to CV converter modules I go through, no matter like how I set the settings in the tracker, or, it's like nothing talks to anything. So that's why, in the performance, you see me like hit the Digitact like manually. I can't link anything up. Like, and everybody's like, oh, it might be there's 2 different like, MIDI to CV, like little connector things. You might be needing the B one instead of the A one. And I have like 50 of them. So I'm like, well, shit, I don't know.
Right. You're like swapping dongles and all that jazz. Yeah.
Nothing's easy. So
it's interesting. I'm glad that, well, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I love your music, and it's great that we're talking about this, because was this like your first kind of attempt at, like, in terms of playing like live? I mean, I know you play the guitar, which we're going to get to that. I have a ton of questions about that, but like in terms of electronic music, like.
So I did one I like wrote. Okay, so I didn't plan on making started making electronic music. Then I was like, nah, I'm going to just make metal. And then I was like, wow, metal sucks. I'm going to write like an electro pop EP as a joke. And then I really liked it. This was like 9 years ago. And I liked it so much. I was like, I have to play this live. And I was like, I'm going to sing and I'm going to be like, you know, doing my thing. And I had like other gear at the time that I was working with. And I was just so nervous that I got super drunk. And so I was, you know, like Madison, that's typical. But I performed all my electronic music live drunk once. And then I was like, that was terrifying. And so I'm just going to stick to guitar playing for a while. And yeah, so it's been quite a while. I'm not at all bothered playing guitar live. Like it could be 4,000 notes and my brain is like, la la la, like we're off and I'm not even thinking about anything. But it's like trying to recreate like the stuff that I make in the studio that's electronic music live. I just like, I don't know the process yet. So.
Got you. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, because it's interesting because, you know, different approaches. So how you were saying, you know, first you tackle the vocals first, then you move on, and then you kind of move them into your devices.
Right? Yeah.
So, I mean, now that I kind of brought up, you know, the guitar, and I know, like, let's talk about that. Like, you're famous for your tapping style. Can you give us a little history about it? I guess let's start there.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get into? Well, first, let's rewind even further. How did you get into music, and then let's move into the guitar.
Okay, so music. Well, my mom bought me this like really, you know, when you're like 3 and you get like a toy keyboard, and it had a handle, and I would carry it everywhere with me, and I would like write songs on it, and I created like this weird way of notating these songs that I wrote. It was just like weird squiggles and like circles and and like I would try to write lyrics, but I was like 4 and didn't know words, so it was just like, you know, attempting to like squiggle words and stuff. And then my friend like started taking piano, and I was like, I want to do that. And my parents were like, yeah, well, we're not going to buy you a piano. So my uncle gave me his old like Roland D80, I think it was, or D70, okay. Which it like. It's not that good of a synth. It's pretty bad. And but I had a ton of fun with that, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so I learned a bit of piano, and then like kind of fell out of love with that. And then I took up the violin in school for a little while. And then when I got a violin teacher for a little bit, I started to hate it because she was like, well, you need to hold it this way and you need to do this. And I was like, no, I don't, like I'm 10 and I have crippling ADHD. Like I don't have time for this. So I just like gave that up. And then I don't know. I used to just go to the music store because like I was always interested in music. I just like didn't know, you know, I didn't have an outlet yet really.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know, I really liked violin, and guitar has like strings kind of like a violin. So I got like a really shitty guitar and a couple lessons that came with the guitar. And then someone showed me like a Slayer riff, and I was like, you know, like I said, my little kid ADHD brain was like, oh yeah, like this is so metal. And so that's how that happened. But then that same uncle that gave me the D70 when I was like 7 or 8 or something, he came back and he installed Sonar Home Studio 6 on my computer for my dad. And my dad like doesn't make music. No one in my family makes music. My uncle like has synths but doesn't make music. He's just an engineer, you know. And like, yeah, engineers just like synthesizers. It's like this weird like thing. So he just has them. And so I started to mess around with it one summer. And then I like figured out, you know, like the piano roll, and it had like some stock instruments. And so then I like, that was when I officially like wrote a whole album, and I had like used like, it was like a whole MIDI album. And I was so proud. I was like, this is sick. Like, this is definitely what I want to do. So that's like how that happened.
Nice, nice. So then, I mean, obviously then you continued to play the guitar.
Yep.
And
started YouTube.
Was it sort of like a simultaneous thing? Like, or were you already, it seemed like you were already playing.
Yeah, I did not want to do YouTube really. Like I watched people on YouTube to like learn songs because I didn't know that guitar tabs existed. I don't know, like I was behind on so many things that you just should know. But I didn't know. That's like how the tapping happened. It wasn't intentional. I just didn't know that you weren't supposed to, or that you were supposed to do it differently. So yeah, I saw some girl play like Lamb of God, on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I know how to do that. And so then I made a couple videos and I did that for 2 years, and I was like, YouTube is stupid. I don't want to do it anymore. So I stopped. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to college and like do music college, and that's, you know, how we get into the music college thing. And then I did not get into any of those. So then I was like, I'm going to start a band, I guess, and work at Culver's. And then my bandmate was like, you need to go back and do YouTube so we can get tours. And he was right. So
nice. That's I was telling you earlier, like, that's super ironic that you're telling me that you didn't get into music school, and now, like, fast forward.
Yeah, Berkeley told me that they didn't think I would be quite a good fit there. And McNally Smith, just like I said, that guy like booted me out halfway through my audition. Wow. He was just angry.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So. Or just, yeah, bitter.
I don't know. He was supposedly like the head of the guitar department, but whatever. Like I said, they saved me like $200,000. So I was sad for a little bit, and then I was like, well, it's fine, you know.
Now look at you, you know, your channel is thriving. You seems like you're doing fantastic. You know, you're amazing instrumentalist.
Thank you.
Let's, if you don't mind, like, share about how you got into, because I know now you have a signature guitar, and I think we're gonna throw up the link so people can see that. Yeah, do you want to talk about that, or just kind of like let us know how you?
Yeah. So like most things in my life, this was also just a happy accident. I wanted to get a custom guitar when I was like 18, and the company that was building the guitars was doing prototypes in the United States for Strandberg models, and they messed up my guitar, and they were like, oh, well, since you paid for it, what if we just send you this Strandberg prototype instead? And I was like, okay, cool. That's sick. So I started making videos with it, and the owner of the company, Ola Strandberg, saw the videos, and he messaged me, and he was like, hey, we should work together. I would like to have you representing my guitars. And I was like, that's cool, because I would like to do that. And so we partnered up for a couple of years, and then, you know, he follows what I do, and he saw that I like make a lot of art, and he sent me another message, and he was like, do you want to paint your own guitar? Like, you will just send you a primed body, you paint it, give it back to us, we'll finish it and send it to you. And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So he sent me the guitar body, but then I was like, I got it, and I was like, oh no, this guitar is like, this is like a $2,800 guitar. And what happens if I just screw it up? Then I've totally messed up this really expensive guitar. And so I just put it away, and I was like, I can't think about that. And I had like a 3-month deadline. I was like, I'll deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. And then like the night before I had to turn it in, I tried working on it, and it wasn't really working. So I scratched it all off. And then like the day of, I just like threw some paint on there and splashed it around. And I was like, well, this is going to have to be good enough. And then when I dropped it off with them, it still hadn't even, like, the paint was still wet. I was like, sorry, here's this. Do something with it, I guess.
Like art under pressure.
Yeah. I was just so nervous about it. And then I got it back, and I was really happy about it, but I did not anticipate it becoming like what it is. I mean, it's gone way beyond my name, you know, like Willow Smith owns one, and she had no idea who I was. She just saw the guitar and was like, oh, this is cool, or got it as a present or something, I think. So I was like, what? So yeah, crazy world.
Nice. I just want to check in with the chat really quick. For our new people that are just joining us, this is Sarah Longfield, and you're watching Faders Up. And if you have questions for Sarah, be sure to drop them in the chat right now. We'll continue. I have lots of questions, and I'm sure that I know that some of our regulars are also modular peeps, our synth fam there. So I definitely have some questions about how you got into modular, actually. But
yeah.
Yeah, well, how did you get into modular? I'll just ask you right now.
Yeah, cool. That's a good. Let's just go from there. So basically, I was like seeing this guy for a while. Like, I don't know, this was 8 or 9 years ago, and he had a bunch of friends that were into it, and he was like, "You got to watch this documentary. And I think you'll really be about this. It's super weird." And I think it was on Netflix at the time, and I think it was called Inside the Wires. And he showed it to me, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, this is crazy. And he wasn't in modular or anything either. And I broke up with him like 2 weeks later. But I was like, this is cool. Like, what is this? And then I ended up going to a synth convention in Chicago, and I got to like, you know, check it out because I had a couple friends that we used to play shows with in Chicago that were like, hey, like maybe you want to go to this. Could be cool. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Wait,
and
was
then
it the one in Schaumburg, like outside of Chicago, the KnobCon, or was it like a synth event in Chicago?
I think it was KnobCon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was like very intimidated. I was like, whoa, this is some big brain music stuff. I don't know. And so I was like pretty freaked out, but I was also like, that's really cool. I was like, I don't even know what's happening, and I want to know. I want to understand. So I don't know if you know Ben Jordan. He is in a project called The Flashbulb, and he also operates independently. And he has a YouTube channel where he does like modular stuff and all of that. And I kind of talked to him a little bit about it because I saw him posting videos, and I was like, you know, hey, I like your music, like blah, blah, blah. And he gave me a couple suggestions on modules to start with.
Okay.
So then I kind of got into it. And then I was like, whoa, like I do not have the money to fund this right now. You know, I was like, I'm 21, like I can't even legally live anywhere. I have no credit. Like I can't get a co-signer for anything. Like I was just living in my practice space. I was like, I gotta figure out my financial situation before I go any further with this. So
pulled down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I was like, okay, maybe in my 40s, like, you know, when I'm like doing something stable and I have a 401k or something, I was like, so that was my plan. I like got into modular. I made a couple of videos with it, and I was like, this is cool. I don't fully understand it, but it's cool. And then I was like, okay, I got to get out. This is for later in life, Sarah. Like current Sarah has enough things to worry about. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, well, who knows what's going to happen? I might not even live to be 40. So I like dug into my savings account, and I was like, it's time. And then I just like,
you doubled down on some modules. There's a module question. Can you pop it back up? Actually, let's see. So can you speak about your approach to noise engineering modules? They love, it was Patch Node.
Oh yeah. Hi. I like your videos and your Insta. So I love the noise engineering stuff. I really want to get more of their modules. I think they're like way more versatile than pretty much any of the other modules in my system right now. I mean, you know, there's like the obvious stuff, like, you know, Plonk is pretty versatile, but it's just not the same. You know, it's not like it's almost like it feels like you're cycling through samples, you know, rather like with the noise engineering stuff, it's like you're just like hands-on and you get to like make everything happen, but there's so much variation between like all of the like knobs. I don't know.
Parameters. Totally.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's crazy. I would never have thought to like make this go to this. So yeah, I really, really enjoy their modules, and I'm looking forward to grabbing some more once I get some more space.
Yeah, that's the you know, the famous, you know, when I get more space, and then we just keep it growing. Do you have the Mimetic Digitalis by any chance?
I don't. I have
check that one out if you're liking the whole idea of, you know, changing parameters and that, because you can CV. It's a step CV sequencer, so you can like send that to your BIA, for example. I know you like the BIA, so, but yeah, definitely. Okay, so wait, before we totally move off the guitar thing, I just want to ask you, so metal.
Yeah.
And like, are you still like rooted in that genre? Is that like your ultimate favorite genre of music right now? Or like
it never was. Like it was never I was never like, yeah, I mean, like I like metal because like I said, like my ADHD brain is like, this is really chaotic, like the outside chaos matches the inside chaos. Like I really appreciate that about metal, but it was just like I don't know, it's like it's just another thing, you know? Like I really love electronic music because like I don't know, like it's always been like I just love the like, you know, I don't dance very often, but it's just like I don't know, it just moves something in you, and there's so much more like sonic possibilities in electronic music. Like metal, it's just like it just isn't that I don't know, I didn't feel fully fulfilled, but it did. I was touring with it, so I was like, yo, this is sick. I like touring. I mean, it wasn't like glamorous touring. Like it was like, you know, we're traveling in an SUV and pulling 12-hour drive shifts overnight, but like, you know, sleeping on questionable people's floors. I had one night where the guy that we stayed with just sat up all night at the couch across from me and just stared at me the whole night. And I was like, oh man, if it wasn't too cold, I would just go sleep in the van. But
yeah.
Yeah, tour stories, that's a whole other thing.
Right. Especially like with metal. So, I mean, how long did you tour then? I mean, because
I think we did in total, before like the band just kind of fell apart, we did like 18 tours in 4 years. So we were pretty busy, but nothing like huge. We had a couple big tours, and I don't really I like small tours. I like the underground, like, you know, tiny dive bar, like those are totally the best. They're absolutely hands down the best shows all the time. So we did that. So I don't know, like metal felt like just what I was a part of, but it didn't feel like who I am, or like, you know, who I am creatively. I feel like everybody that I hung around with that was like, yeah, metal, that was just like it. And like, that was the ceiling. It was just like, yep, it's metal and that's it. And I was just like, I don't fit in quite here, you know? And like the whole, you know, the woman thing, it's like a little bit weird too. There just aren't, and like everybody's like, oh, I don't know why there aren't any women in metal. I'm like, well, I can tell you why. There's millions of reasons why. So it wasn't all bad, you know. It was like, I don't know. I don't think about it that much. So I just feel like, you know, I love what?
Oh no, you go ahead. What were you finish your sentence? Sorry.
Well, so much about like the electronic community, and in particular like the modular community. Is there's like so much overlap with mediums. Like I know so many people that do modular that also animate stuff and paint and like are super creative videographers, and I'm just like, that is totally where like I want to be at. I want to meet these people, and I want to know like what they're thinking and what they're doing. I want to like, you know, I want to learn from them, and I want to observe all the art that they're making, because it's so much more like all encompassing. It's not just like, check out this 300 BPM shred lick, which is like, that's sick. But it's like, I've seen that guy play that 300 BPM shred lick 10,000 times. So I don't know.
So you've been able to take obviously those, like your guitar playing skills, and kind of apply that to your music, which is fantastic, right?
Thanks. Yeah. I don't know why guitar happened. Like that was not my intention. I did not plan on being a guitar player at all. It was just like a thing that came kind of easy in the way that I do it, which is, I guess, the wrong way. So I don't know.
Well, you know, that's the great thing I think about music is like, is there really like a wrong way? Or anyone I feel like tells you there's like, there's a wrong way. I don't know. It's about being creative.
I think so.
Yeah. But, you know, it's one thing in my experience too, especially with the modular community and meeting people like how you're talking about, which is like, I share the same experience with what you're saying, you know, like all these different creatives doing various things, and kind of trying to incorporate all of them with their music, or whether it's art, drawing, videos. And it's a very like welcoming community. I've in my personal experience, versus like, you know, with other genres, things like that. And it's not even about genre, more so than it's just like nerding out with modular stuff.
Yeah, totally. It's just like nerdy artists, you know. It's not like, I don't know. It's just, it's so much more my interests, you know. And you have people that are, you know. Sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought because I read this question. What module do you use the most? Oh man, that's a tough one. Right now, probably QPOS, just because I like, you know, I had like the Polaris and I was like, that's cool. But the QPOS, it's like, I've been able to get really weird stuff going on with that. So yeah, that's currently, it's been in most all of my patches.
Nice. QPOS, that's a great filter. Are you still playing? Do you still use the NerdSec, or are you? In trackers. So
I love the NerdSec. I just updated it, and like then in the current update, I think you can change all the colors. So I made mine like all pink and blue and all like, I don't know. I love the NerdSec. I wish it was bigger. I wish I had a NerdSec that was like this big, and I could just like, you know, but they made the same click clack noise. Like, if I could live in that box, I would.
There's definitely in our in our viewers right now, there are definitely some NerdSec users. I think Frey, daughter of Drexia, she's definitely loving her NerdSec. John O'Wells definitely is another one that's like a avid NerdSec user. So
it's so good. You can do so much. I don't know. Like I said, I just wish it was bigger. I just wish I had one that was like the size of my computer.
that would be kind of crazy, but
Yeah, it would be a little excessive, I guess.
So let me just check in the chat. I'm kind of looking over here. I'm just perusing to make sure that we're getting all the questions. I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in to Faders Up with us with Sarah Longfield tonight. And yeah, like then I'll just keep going. If people, make sure you drop questions or comments. And in the meantime, like I'm going to ask you, like, so you've been doing your YouTube channel now it's been like what, 12, 13 years, roughly,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. A long time. Yep.
So you've obviously been, I've watched your videos, you've been using a lot of different gear, hardware, like, so first of all, what do you prefer? Like, in terms of like, are you kind of leaning away from like guitar and more traditional instruments as you move into electronic music, or are you kind of now, what is your path with that, I guess?
Everyone's been asking me. Like all my YouTube friends ask me that, like, where are you going with this channel? Like, what do you want to do it? I honestly
already doing a lot, but I meant more so.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm not offended by anything. I've been doing YouTube for 13 years. Like, you can't offend me. I'm totally chill. It's like, I don't have the freedom right now to do what I want to do with my YouTube channel. I'm grateful I have my YouTube channel because it helps me make money while I'm in school so I can pay my rent. So like, I am forever stoked on YouTube and Patreon. It's like, it's enough to get me by right now. But I have to take all the ad deals that I can get. When companies are like, hey, we want you to do this video with this thing and basically just make an advertisement for us, I have to be like, yep. Yes, please, like, load me up. Give me all the ad deals. And like, the audience doesn't love that quite as much, but I don't have the luxury of being like, nah, I'm just going to make a cool artsy video of, my electronic music I'm working on. And so I'm at a point with it. Honestly, I feel like I've always been at this point though, because if it wasn't like ad deals, it was like, well, I have to make this guitar video and get this stuff done so that we can like lock down promo for this tour. So it's like, I feel like YouTube is just a means to like keep me going so that I can eventually use it how I want to use it. And I don't mind making, gear videos. Like I think, it's cool. But I think my ideal like end goal would just be making weird, like super weird, like artsy, like, really like out there, uncomfortable, like bad humor, like music videos to my really strange music. And I want to make like just really weird music, that's where I would love to be at.
Like weird sounds and like just kind of more.
Yeah, like all dressed up in costume and like, have my dog like floating in space and like my synth, like, I just want it to be like, what is this? That's what I want to do. I don't want it to be like, okay, here's Sarah. She's the guitar playing YouTube girl that does like,
Right.
That's not me at all. Like, I don't care. Gear is just a means to an end to me. If it does what I need it to do, then I'm like super stoked on it. But I have no like sentimental connection to any of it. It's all just tools. So it's like, I don't want to make videos about tools, but the beat video was awesome. Like that, I am genuinely stoked on Modular and I do enjoy making videos about that, but I haven't been able to because, ad deals lately. So.
Got you. It kind of pulls you into another. Yeah. No, there's a question by Malarkey there. I think we have it up on the screen. Have you tried to bring the sound of metal into Modular or other electronic instruments?
I'm like, okay, so I don't know if any of you guys know the band Genghis Tron. They were like circa 2007, like grindcore meets like electronic music. And I was like, yes, like, there we go.
My producer Willow is all about it. So.
Sick. And they're great. They're coming out with a new record finally after a 10-year hiatus. So I'm trying to do a cover right now of one of their old songs, and it's a combination of like Modular and like, analog drum stuff. and then like screaming, you know, and like, so it's going to be a blend, but it might not be, I guess, what people are expecting. So
cool though. I can't wait to hear it.
Thanks.
Especially it's like your spin. So now, okay, when you say screaming, so, and I know you're a vocalist, so do you do metal vocals as well?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I did not know. So
yeah, it's like that weird talent that you don't really tell anybody about, but that you can do pretty good. Yeah, so I'm gonna do. I mean, the song has screaming in it, so I'm gonna do screaming. I got almost pigeonholed into doing vocals exclusively. I did a. I hope I'll be happy if people haven't seen this video actually, but I did a cover of Payback by Slayer with my friend Rob Scallon. Not that the video is bad, it's just like it blew up, and it was just me screaming Slayer and to this video that he made. And he's like a YouTube genius. Like I love him, he's wonderful, but it like turned me into basically a metal vocalist. Everybody was like, you need to front the band, and I was like, no, that is not where we're going with this.
Like now I need to hear this video. I'm gonna as soon as this is over, I am gonna go look for it. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, that's fine. You can hear my my thrash vocals impersonation. It's on his channel though, not mine. My future cover was not as good, but he called me up and he was like, do you want to do a Slayer video? And I was like, nope, definitely don't want to do that. And he was like, oh, bummer. And then he called me back and he's like, okay, well, please. And I was like, oh, I don't think I can do it. And yeah, and then I did, and it got like millions and millions of views. So
nice. Who knew, right?
Yeah, kind of. But then like you do anything and everybody's like Slayer, and you're like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not me. That was just for a friend.
So now, as a vocalist, like, what are you? So you more into singing like pop? Like those were your vocals, for example, in the performance, which were very.
Thank you. And they're not as impressive. I'm more proud of my vocal producing skills than I am of my voice. Singing is, I don't know. I'm like, I don't feel like a vocalist. I don't feel like I have the persona to be a vocalist. You know, I don't think I could like. That's why I had to be super drunk that one time I did it live. I was like, yo, this is like way too weird.
To be up front and like.
Yeah, singing, nah. So I like to sing. I can sing. And I think I can sing in tune, you know. I'm not like hiding anything, but I'd rather like just, I mostly just make the vocals so I can produce them and then, you know, mix them and use them. Yeah. Just another instrument. So.
Nice. Well, we put your Bandcamp up on there, so hopefully, and then we can also drop that in the link too. When we wrap up, we'll drop all your links in there to make sure everyone has your links in the chat.
Thanks.
Just kind of glance back at the chat and make sure. I think we got all the questions in there. So I guess as you were saying, you know, you wanted to do more experimental music eventually with your channel. Well, like one thing we didn't talk about, which I'd like to talk about in you, is you're an artist. And that's like not just musical, but you want to illustrate as well. So you want to talk a little bit about that? Like that's like one of your goals.
Yeah.
That before.
So I'm like, I've never been like very great at art. Like art has been like this thing that I do a lot, but it's like I've never been very good at it. So I was like, well, I want to go to school so I can learn how to get better at it. And I know you can learn on YouTube and stuff, obviously, because that's how I learned guitar pretty much. But I really like I've always wanted to go to college, and I wanted the setting of it and everything. So, and now that I'm like old, they were like, yeah, your parents they're not going to help. So here's grants from the government, like have fun. I was like, oh, sick. So I'm going for illustration right now, but also furniture design, because furniture is expensive. And if you can build it yourself, then you don't have to pay for it. So.
Very cool. Nice.
Favorite and least favorite module, past or present?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. Yeah. They all connect. I need all of them. They're all my favorite. Man, that's such a tough call. God, I guess my favorite module right now is probably the Zadar, because I really like just looping the envelopes, you know, and then just sending that to all kinds of things to make it just do weird stuff. And I did, you know, do the thing where you can turn it into like an oscillator, but it doesn't like track pitch super well. So that was least favorite module. Mm, honestly, this is a weird one, but probably my Intelligent Quad VCA, because I just wish I had gotten another Veils, because I just like the Veils better. I have a little bit of noise in my Quad VCA for some reason, and it just like, so I just keep avoiding it. And I'm like I need to use this.
You dance around it.
I'm like, yeah, no, Veils. And then I'm like, well, I should just have 2 Veils and not have gotten. And I know that's like, everybody's like, oh, that the Intelligent Quad VCA is the VCA. But I just don't really vibe with it. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's a really weird. That's going to be the one. That's the next one that I sell. So, and I'm going to sell it to get other Veils.
Veils. I haven't tried Veils either. I mean, I've heard about the mutable instruments. But
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the sounds blend better in my Veils than they do. And even with this, you have the 6 dB boost, which is cool. And like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it just doesn't sound as good.
What's next on your list then for modules? I mean, besides getting another Veils, like what are you looking at right now?
Oh man, I change this list like weekly. I have to go into my phone. I'm like, I want this, and then I'm like, no, I want this, and then I'm like, no, that's not it. And then I'm like, where am I going with this whole rack? Like, so okay, yeah, my next 2 are the Qubit Prism and the Zayak Belgrade. So
what was the second one?
Zayak Belgrade.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
Those are my next 2, I think. Though who knows? Like I said, and I'm also scared because it's all filled up, and I know if I get another case and I get like 3, I'll be like, it's not.
You gotta add more to it.
Yeah.
Do you use Modular Grid by any chance?
I do, and I've like I like weekly again. I'm like, what if I just like get rid of these ones and then get these ones, and then I'm like, no, I know I'm just gonna have to get another case. So I'm just like, I'm trying to I'll see videos pop up on my feed like, check out this module, and I'm like, no, not today. I am not watching this video right now. I do not have the money. So, and I just got a Hydrasynth, so I really need to like slow. Like I got to slow my roll.
The Hydrasynth is great. Yeah,
it's so sick.
Yeah,
like the mod matrix and the macros, like just sitting there hunched over it for hours.
Yeah. The Hydrasynth, and then I know you got the Apex Twin, the Apex Station. Yeah, I've been playing with that some too. Yeah, that sounds.
It's awesome. It's super weird. I like it.
Oh, I have a question. Oh, there's another question, really quick, by Chantel Del Felice. Hey, Chantel, thanks for joining us tonight. Sarah, your illustrations are rad. Do you listen to music while you draw, or hear sounds in your head that guide the drawing?
Thank you. That is a good question. And I think all of the above. It's all like this crazy, really colorful, chaotic space. And I really want to, I don't know, I had this weird idea. I'm sure it already exists because like every idea pretty much already exists on the internet right now. But I really want to, like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to code so I can create a program that like when I play my synths and stuff, like I can create little animations and like mini I don't know, things and have them like pop up on a screen so that I can get a projector and then project that onto my wall so that when I'm playing, like my illustrations, like and my animations will show up depending on like what I'm playing, and it's like, so that's where my head's at when I have the time.
That sounds dope. You know what? There's actually, if I'm
there a program,
there's someone in the chat, which I'm sure there's more than Malarkey. I think I was just talking to him about animations and he does that.
He does that where you can link it to
like a group. And if you're still watching, will you drop the link in the chat, Malarkey, about what we were talking about the other night? And basically, it's about using programming to create visuals. And but yes, yeah, it's very sick. I think it's very cool. I've seen a couple artists do different things, like either with Max for Live or some other program. I'm not a coder, so please forgive me for not having the specific names of things, but
me either yet. I'm just like starting, so that's cool. If it already exists, it's gonna save me a bunch of time.
I think it's great you're putting it out there right now too, because like I said, like some of our viewers right now, I know a few of them are definitely into that, and I'm sure they could drop you some information on your IG message or something like that.
That
or
would be
even in the chat right now.
That would be awesome, either or. But yeah, no, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I like this, like the modular community. Everybody's already thinking about that. They're like, wouldn't it be cool if I could have what's in my brain show up when I'm playing? Like, yeah, sick.
There was one other question back in the chat too by Frank, and he asked, let's see, interesting patch idea you recently did or learned.
Oh man, how do I say it? So there was this guy on Reddit, and he basically made a video on like the 3 times Mia, and he was talking about sending and blending like different CV signals. And I don't know why I didn't really think of doing that. It's a very simple thing, but I was like just messing around with like, you know, blending like 3 different things together and then sending them out to different effects, or sending them to, you know, and just like then that opened up a whole world of things. That was like a couple weeks ago, but yeah, so that was my most recent modular endeavor. I wish I could remember, because he just started a YouTube channel, and I was like, this is great. He made like little visuals for like what all the signals look like when he blended them together. I was like, that's so good. Thank you. I hadn't thought of that. So
yeah, that's the great thing about modular. I mean, even if you've seen it, it's just, I don't know. For me, I feel like will never stop learning. I mean, and I've been doing it, I don't know, I guess a few years now, but I feel like I've still just started, you know?
Yeah, it's so deep.
Learning something. Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody comes up with all these like crazy things. And I mean, I only like pretty recently like did the deep dive. I mean, I like pretty much when the pandemic hit, it was like April, and I was like, well, this isn't looking good. I'm probably going to be here for a while, and money might mean nothing because we might just collapse. So I better spend some of it now. So I've only been deep diving into modular for the past like 6 months. So plenty to learn for me.
Nice. Well, it's definitely a good journey to be on, I think. But but it does. I see Earth 626. He has like $6 signs up there. He knows, like, you know, like with, yeah, modular is definitely one of those a journey and that sort of path.
Yeah, some of my friends were like, so how much did you spend? I'm like, I'm not looking. I'm not gonna go and check and give you a number on that. Nope.
Oh, another question by Synthetic. Do you use weird alternative controllers like a theremin, omnichord, or custom stuff?
No, but I've thought about it. I'm like, again, like in the back of my like crazy brain, I'm like, I would love to build weird controllers that do weird things. Because like I'm really good at like soldering things, and for like a while I was into like modding and messing with pedals and pulling out their circuitry and putting them in other housing and like all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And then that was going to extend into something like, you know, building your own controllers and you know, different ways of like manipulating music and sending musical information. But then, so there was still a Radio Shack in Madison at the time. And I was there a lot. Like I was always at Radio Shack. I was like, yo, I need this capacitor and this pot and blah, blah, blah. And then like after like my 50th trip, the guy was like, do you want a job? And I was like, oh man, I was like, I should really wait on this. I feel like, you know, it's one of those other things that I was like, I should put this off until later in life. I might be I was going down a rabbit hole with that too. So
do you still have some of the things that you were making? Do you still?
Yeah, they're in storage though. My apartment is like way, way small. So I can't even have all my gear pretty much. So it's all just like this room that you're looking at. It's like 7.5 feet by like 9 feet. Which like it isn't super tiny, but it's about the size of like a big walk-in closet. So yeah, it's like I can't have my drums or anything like that. The cello like barely fits. So it's cool. It makes me like sell off anything that I'm not using, but I don't have like space to really build or, you know.
Right. So you have to kind of make sure like what you're using is in there and.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So yeah, sometimes it's nice to have like a warm and like a cozy, inviting environment too to make music in. I've been in a warehouse sort of situation before, where like a lockout, and it's interesting because I was like the only electronic music person in there, and everyone was like metal bands.
I bet. Yeah,
they were super nice, you know. Like, so I like show up and they're like, boosh, boosh, like I'm like techno, and they're like, hey, like, but I like the lockout and all the other patrons that were there, but it did feel like being in there, like there were no windows, I'd come out and be dark day, nighttime, and
no idea what time it was. There's no Wi-Fi.
It just didn't feel as like when I took the studio home and like really dialed it in at home, and it just I think that opened it up for me, like my creativity way more. So
I'm actually the opposite. I lived in a place like that for like 2 years. Like legitimately, I would just shower at the gym or at my drummer's house. Like, yeah. Well, because like I said, I had no credit and no co-signers and nobody, everybody was like, yeah, okay, you're a delivery driver and you make music. I'm not signing you on to shit. Good luck. So I was just like, okay, well, this is $300 a month and a gym membership is like $40 a month. Like, this is sick. I can totally hack this. And so I loved it. I was like, there's no Wi-Fi. There is no windows. And I never know what time it is. I'm surrounded by the things I like. Like, it's just this weird void that I exist in. And then when I crawl out, there's always something else to do. So it's like, I love that. I would love another shitty warehouse space where it's just like,
you're just locked in there.
I love it. Just, I'd never leave.
I guess that's how you're cranking out albums and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I have no friends. I don't do anything. I literally just like, this is it. Me and my dog.
School.
What?
Music, school, and your dog. So then we're approaching the top of the hour, and I just kind of want to ask you then, so I know you mentioned some things with YouTube, but what is your plan? Like, what are you, that's a loaded question. Come on.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, what's your how about I say, what's your plan for the next year?
Well, I'm kind of stuck for the next year because school and COVID, but I guess beyond that, I want to keep doing electronic music. I have to pay off my metal label. They gave me an advance and I am stuck in that and I have to get out of it before I can do a whole lot. And then, I want to finish school, sell some furniture, make some paintings, make some animations, figure out how to make that thing I was talking about, design and build some stuff. And then I am going to go actually out west after that, just because I might have told you this when we were talking, but all my friends live out in LA or Seattle. So it's one of the two.
Come and link up and
I have no friends in Minnesota really. I mean, it's cool. I love it here. I have family, kind of close. So that's obviously, the driving factor behind this, but it would be cool. I want to travel more. I want to go, like I said, go be out west for a little while. Cause I did the East Coast for a little while. So,
and the weather is much nicer out here.
Yeah, that would be really, truly great. I get so crazy, between December and February, I'm just not a sane human being. I get the most music done. I am just constantly just getting stuff done. But it's not in a healthy way. So.
Right. Cause you're just locked in that's one thing I don't miss about the Midwest, being a Midwesterner.
Yep.
Those cold winters, but.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure we'd love to see you out here. We have SoCal Synth Society out here, and there are other societies, and I know that there's a lot of them in the chat right now, all up and down the West Coast. Left Coast Lights. We have Seattle, where your friends, there's this modular group up there, but we're all connected here on IG and YouTube. And yeah, we'd love to have you out here and do some meetups and stuff.
I would love that.
And jams. Yeah.
There's just, there isn't, I mean, there's a little bit in Minneapolis, there's a few stores that sell stuff, but I haven't really found too much of a community for all of that. You should check out the B-roll. Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, actually, he does a thing where and forgive me out there, viewers, if I say this wrong, he takes video clips and he puts them into Ableton, but he uses his modular to actually sequence and trigger the clips.
That's sick.
The specifics on it, I'm not sure if he's using Max for Live or what the exact details, but it looks really cool. So definitely check out his IG. If that is another form of using, visual.
Blending all of it.
Yes.
Totally.
Cool. All right. Is there anything that you want to kind of share with everyone before we wrap up the night?
I don't think so, I guess, unless anybody has any other questions. I mean, we kind of touched on pretty much my whole life story.
Thank you for sharing too.